Hey guys, so I'm just going to go over the chapter 4 assignment. It's a little bit more involved than some of the other ones that we've had. So we are designing an ad with a particular demographic in mind. So definitely make sure that you read chapter 4 before trying to begin this assignment, because you'll just get confused if you haven't read the chapter yet. So first off, I want you to pick a product type from the product type list, which is down here. So car, cleaning products, cell phone, laptop, handbag, beer, ice cream, shoe. Next, pick a demographic from the demographic list. So any of the demographics that were basically covered in chapter 4 are listed here. And then next, choose a type of ad you will make. And that's going to be in the types of advertising list right here. So print media. So if you do choose print, just make sure you specify if it's newspaper, brochure, magazine, whatever else you end up doing. Those aren't the only types of print media, but some of the main ones. Social media, direct mail, email, web ad, outdoor advertising such as billboards or the side of a bus, for example, or TV advertising. And then once you have those 3 things from each list kind of picked out, I want you to, create an ad basically with those 3 things. So considering the advertising type, so if you want to do print or social media or a billboard, so consider what advertising type, messages, design choices, cultural themes will suit your audience the most and design with that in mind. So answering the following questions is going to help you a lot. You can do this off to the side, but basically before you even start designing your ad, get these questions answered. So what type of advertising will you make? So refer to that list below. But also think of your audience. Are they old? Because if they're old, maybe they might want to, actually in the newspaper might get good at getting to those older people out there because they still read the newspaper, stuff like that. So you have to pick these things with your audience in mind. And then what is the headline? What is the subhead? What is the body copy? What is the call to action? So what do you want them to do? You have to direct your audience. There has to be a call to action somewhere, and it should actually be somewhat highlighted within the ad. What cultural themes have you included to be relevant to that audience? So in your book, each of these demographics has a pretty extensive, explanation of what they think is important and how they work, and if they're mobile users or if they're more into TV, those kinds of things. What types of fonts and colors will you use? This might be a little bit more of just a free choice for you, but do consider your fonts and colors. If you're trying to reach a really techie Asian audience, for example, maybe use fonts and colors that are used commonly in the tech industry. So you don't want like really playful, colorful, like Comic Sans font or anything like that if you're trying to reach really serious Asian tech consumers, basically. And then consider where and when your ad will run. If they're really heavy mobile users, consider a social media site. It's up to you, really. Or maybe a website. Potentially, they might actually do well with billboards. It just kind of depends, once again, on that demographic list that you choose. So there should be a reason for all of your answers. All creative and contextual choices should be relevant to the characteristics of your chosen demographic, which you can easily read about in the book if you have any questions on, they actually give you really good insights into the demographic in the book. So whichever demographic you choose, I suggest reading through the book thoroughly to get the answers to these questions. And then once you've figured that out, you can actually, once you've answered these questions, you can begin designing your ad in canva.com. So I know you're actually designing for a generic made up company or product. So please don't pick like an actual product and then just rip off one of their ads. I want you to just do this for kind of a generic. You can find a picture of a real car, obviously, but it doesn't have to be for that brand. And actually, I don't want it for that brand. I want it to just be a brand that you kind of made up. And I know you're not all designers, but try your best to make a basic ad with the required elements. So we have a logo, headline, subhead, body copy, logo, call to action. Oops, I have that in there twice. oops, call to action, brand colors, brand fonts, and imagery. So these are the required elements. And notice how I say, relevant to culture, to your chosen culture, relevant to culture of chosen demographic. And so with a logo too, you don't have to make the logo. You can just find like a generic icon. I think canva.com actually has different things that you can just pop in there pretty easily that can just like sub as a logo. So discussion, when you're done with your design, post a JPEG and try to embed it so that we can see it without having to click on it in the discussions area of your design in the discussions area, and then let us know the following. So type out this numbered list, but put your answers here. So what type of advertising in it is it? Maybe it's a Facebook ad. What cultural themes have you included? Maybe you included, cultural themes of family and fun and humor. And then where exactly and when will your ad run? So, think about, sometimes if it's a social media ad, you'll be like, well, users tend to use social media. Most users use it, in the evenings on Monday. So, or, you can look it up and just say, that's when it's going to run on Facebook from 5 to 8 p.m. or something. Whatever seems to make sense there. But there might actually be other areas where you're like, I'm going to run this ad as a TV ad during a soap opera, or I'm going to run this ad on a outdoor advertising sign within a baseball field during the World Series or something to reach this certain audience. So sometimes there is a where and a when that is really specific, and sometimes there's a where and a when that's not as specific, potentially with social media. But try to answer this as closely as you can, basically. Maybe it's going to run in the Sunday